What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports TTM Thursdays. I just want to start off with every streak does come to an end. After my 350th consecutive video, I missed 1 week, so I didn't make it to 351. However, here's to setting another streak. I just had some stuff that I had to deal with and could not get a video shot this past week. So we're going to ease back into this slowly. After getting past, the things that I had to get past in my personal life, and we're going to talk about 2 players this time instead of 3 or even 1. So the first one is a return, and this one's been a long time coming. And this is a return from Bruce Howard. And again, something from the all-time Orioles set. But more importantly, I was a little hesitant to send this one because Marv Stahl here passed away in September of 2022, I believe. And I was like, well, do I send it to Bruce, even though I got Marv already on there? But I saw that Bruce was signing, through the mail, so I thought, what the heck? There's only one way to get this card completed. So I did send it, and to my pleasure, Mr. Howard did sign and finish off this card with Marv Stahl, and, rest in peace, Mr. Stahl. And I'm happy to report that this 1965 Rookie Stars is now a completed card in my collection, and plus I added another to the all-time Orioles collection. So let me tell you about Bruce Howard and his career in baseball. So Bruce Howard was born in Maryland, where he attended high school, actually in Norfolk, Virginia. He then went on to play at Villanova University in Pennsylvania. He played very briefly in college and was signed as a minor league free agent by the Chicago White Sox in 1962. He spent his first year at 19 years old and posted a 7-3 record with a 2.34 ERA in 16 games in their Class D affiliate. The next year, Bruce moved up at 20 years old in 1963 to low A, then double A to actually finish the year. And he posted a 10-13 record in 29 games that year in 1963 between single A, double A. But also, he got a call up to the major leagues on September 4th, 1963 at just 20 years old. In his first game, he debuted against the Kansas City A's. He pitched 1 inning, struck out 1, walked 1, and finished out that game in just 1 inning pitched. He would then appear in 7 games in relief to finish out the year in 1963 with the Chicago White Sox, posting a 2-1 record with a 2.65 ERA. Next year, in 1964, they decided to move him back to AAA, primarily focusing on being a starter. He started 27 games, appearing in 30 for the White Sox AAA affiliate, posting a 15-8 record in 1964, which again got him call up to the majors. Well, Bruce took advantage of that call up to the majors, and in just 3 games to finish out that year with the White Sox, he posted an immaculate 2-1 record with a .81 ERA. Well, in 1965, he made the team coming out of spring training, and he appeared in 30 games that first full season. In 1965, he had previously played when he was 20 and 21 in the majors with the White Sox. And in 1965, he posted a 9-8 record in 30 games that year with the White Sox. Next year in 1966, he would post a 9-5 record in 27 games with the White Sox. Well, unfortunately, 1967, at age 24, things kind of fell apart a little bit for him. After appearing in 30 games, starting in 17, his record would just dip to 3-10 that year. And he would post a 3.43 ERA, which basically tells me that it kind of wasn't his fault that he lost all those games, that maybe his teams didn't pick him up. Well, some injuries plagued him a little bit there, and despite the injury, he was traded in the offseason to the Baltimore Orioles for the package that brought Hall of Famer Luis Aparicio to the Chicago White Sox. Aparicio, had been a long-time shortstop for the White Sox to this point, and then took his talents to Chicago. Well, his first year with Baltimore, he only appeared in 10 games because of that injury. And after the 10 games that he appeared with Baltimore, they decided to trade him in 1968 to the Washington Senators. Well, he would appear in a total of 23 games in that 1968 season for between the Orioles and the Nationals. And then the next year, in 1969, he would try to come back from those arm injuries. Well, unfortunately, in 1969, he did not get back up to the major leagues, and he was actually eventually shipped back to the Chicago White Sox that year, but did not crack their major league roster. At just the age of 26 years old, Bruce Howard was done playing baseball in the major leagues. Now, I'm not really sure what Bruce wound up doing post-playing career. However, what I can tell you is he's the father of former infielder / utility man David Howard. So David Howard would go on to be a super utility type player, primarily for the Kansas City Royals. So another father-son duo that played in the major leagues. And, there's been hundreds of them, over the years. And Bruce and David Howard are another duo that played in the major leagues. So I want to thank Mr. Howard for signing my cards, especially finishing up this rookie card and adding another one to the all-time Orioles collection. So we'll move on to the next return. All right, so this next return actually features a bonus. I wrote Mr. Ken Aspromonte on a couple 61 tops there, and he also signed the Cubs card there, and as well as a manager card. But in addition to signing these two cards, Mr. Aspromonte included a signed postcard. So this is signed by Mr. Aspromonte. He threw it in the envelope. I guess he appreciated the nice handwritten letter that I sent him, because I always handwrite my letters whenever I write people. I do not do form letters. I personally feel that's impersonal. I try to personalize every letter that I write to every player, and sometimes you get an added bonus. So let me tell you how Ken Aspromonte about his playing career and his managing career in baseball. Ken Aspromonte grew up in Brooklyn, New York. He, along with his younger brother, Bob Aspromonte, grew up in the Brooklyn neighborhood, and he attended high school in Brooklyn, New York as well. At just 18 years old, Ken would sign with the Boston Red Sox. So you can imagine the Red Sox signing a kid from Brooklyn. Ken would, in 1950, play in 128 games in the lower level affiliates of the Boston Red Sox. From 1950 to 1953, Ken would progress through their minor league levels, hitting the AAA affiliate in 1953. However, in 1954 and 1955, Ken lost time to his baseball career while serving his country. So Ken spent some time, due to his military service in 1954 and 55, working for the United States government, and then he returned in 1956 and still was just 24 years old. And the Boston Red Sox put him back in their minor league affiliates, and it's like he didn't miss a step. In 1956, he appeared in 141 games and batted .281 while playing for the Red Sox minor league affiliate. Not too bad for a guy that hadn't played for 2 years in organized baseball. The next year in 1957, he would even step it up higher, batting an immaculate .334 in 1957 for their minor league affiliate, garnering him a call to the major leagues on September 2nd, 1957. At age 25, he would be used as a utility replacement. He didn't get an at-bat that game, but he would wind up appearing in 24 games, having 78 at-bats in that 1957 season, and putting a respectable .269 batting average together that year as well. 1958, he went into the season with the Red Sox and their plans. However, just after 6 games, the Red Sox decided to trade him to the Washington Senators. Well, once he got to the Senators, they had a place for him, and he appeared in 92 games that year with the Senators, posting a .225 batting average as a utility infielder. 1959 rolled around. He would appear in 70 games that year as a utility player for the Washington Senators. In 1960, he would start off the year with the Washington Senators. However, he would be traded on May 15th to the Cleveland Indians for Pete Wasnante. He would primarily be the starting infielder for the Indians that year, where he appeared in 117 games, posting a .290 batting average that year in 1960. Despite having a solid season with Cleveland, he will be lost in an expansion draft and later traded to the Los Angeles Angels that year. Well, he would appear in just 66 games for the Angels, and the Cleveland Indians would get him back. So he would have back-to-back seasons with the Indians, but he had a couple teams in between his seasons in 1960-61 that he played for. So after the 61 season completed, he was with the Cleveland Indians going into 1962, and then they sold his contract to the Milwaukee Braves. So now just in about a 3-year span, this guy played for 4 different teams. So think about that for a second. That's kind of amazing. So he finished out the year in 1962 with the Milwaukee Braves and then signed as a free agent with the Chicago Cubs. So this would be his last year in the major leagues as a Cub right there. And he would actually only appear in just 20 games for the Cubs that season. Well, after his playing career, Ken would be released by the Cubs in 1964. So after his release from the Cubs, Aspromonte would take his talents overseas. From 1964 to 65, he would play for the Chinunchi Dragons in the Japanese Professional Baseball League. And then in 1966 would play for the Taiwan Whales. Well, he would resurface in 1972 after spending a couple years in the minor leagues, coaching for the Cleveland Indians in 1969 through the 71 season. He coached all the way up to the AAA affiliate of the Cleveland Indians, and in 1972 he was named the full-time manager of the Cleveland Indians. While his time in Cleveland, he posted decent records. However, the Indians never finished better than 4th in his 3 seasons there, combining his total wins of 200 wins and 260 losses. And he was eventually replaced by Frank Robinson as the manager of the Cleveland Indians. So I want to thank Mr. Aspromonte for signing my cards. I also want to profusely thank Mr. Aspromonte for including that extra postcard. But I also want to thank Bruce Howard for signing his cards, and again talking about him finishing off this last section of that Rookie Stars card. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and like I said, all streaks come to an end, so now I'm going to start another streak. So hopefully you can join me for another 350 straight episodes, and hopefully we'll talk about a lot of autographs that I receive in those next 350. As always, happy collecting. Look forward to your comments below.